welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The former Vice President of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, Dr. Paul Caslendor, continues to express his concern about the protocols in place for new coronavirus as the Caribbean has now been placed on high alert for the virus. Dr. Lendor says beyond border control measures, health officials should begin public education initiatives aimed to brace members of the public for any possibility of the disease spreading to St. Lucia.
What the Ministry of Health now has to do is should be embarked on an educational plan to outline to the general population, if a case is diagnosed, what is it that is expected of them. They would be quarantine and isolation, and if that is the case, we would have to know where those individuals would be quarantined. And where communities are impacted, they should also outline how food and other services would be provided to those communities in an effort to reduce the spread to areas where the coronavirus has not been detected.
Dr. Lendor says generic information distributed by the Department of Health will no longer suffice, and it is time to actively involve the general public in preparation efforts.
To deal with that coronavirus saga and to minimize the spread and fear associated with the same, the Ministry of Health would need to bring a team of consultants together. Individuals who have a true understanding of infectious diseases and how it is spread, and develop a strategy that would help the general population gain confidence as to what is happening. I said in my press release that restricting information is disastrous and facilitates the spread of the virus. So the Ministry of Health must be forthcoming with all information, including where and how individuals shall be quarantined.
The medical professional says those in authority must ensure that they communicate effectively and honestly with all stakeholders, especially the general public and medical professionals, and this must be done in a timely fashion. The St. Lucia Fire Service is appealing to the general public to make responsible decisions that will safeguard their lives and lessen incidents that require emergency response by the fire service. Acting Divisional Officer Jermaine Williams says there is currently major strain on the resources of the fire service as it grapples to handle the influx of calls, particularly on weekends.
In terms of the manpower, I do not think any department, especially the fire service, will ever have all the men that we need, okay, to do our job effectively. However, with the manpower that we have, we are able to respond. Where we fall short sometimes is when we have those calls that are not emergency in nature but are man-made in terms of physical assaults and all of those other responses where you have persons who drink and drive and they are the ones who put unnecessary strain on the system.
Williams says physical assaults in particular are of great concern and speak to the need for greater conflict resolution strategies and development of interpersonal skills from a young age. In other news, the Castries Constituencies Council, CCC, and the National Workers Union, NWU, have amicably resolved their grievances pertaining to the position of a staff member which was made redundant. This matter was resolved following a conciliation meeting at the Department of Labor on Thursday, the 27th of February, but there are still differing views between the CCC and the NWU on just how the impasse was handled. Shaka Wooding reports.
According to Secretary General of the NWU, Joanne Haywood, the CCC has agreed to reinstate the position of a staff member who was made redundant on February 24, 2020. He says the union is pleased that the CCC has agreed to follow proper procedures enshrined by the labor law pertaining to redundancies in future.
So the Labor Commissioner intervened last Thursday, that's the 27th of February, and based on the presentations made by both the union and the CCC, the Labour Commissioner made a determination that the proposed redundancy was null and void, and that the recommendation be that the gentleman be reinstated effective the same 24 February 2020. The council accepted that determination, and they have written the gentleman and the union, likewise the Labour Commissioner, agreeing to reinstate, and they have since reinstated the gentleman.
The CCC, for its part, has expressed disappointment with how the industrial action was impressed. In a press release dated March 3rd, the CCC stated, and quote, "We, being part of the Essential Services Act, would appreciate if the same procedure was followed according to the Essential Services Act by formally notifying the Council's management of any decision to strike and respectively providing a reason, as Council was never informed. In addition, we would wish that the same chastisement leveled at the Council would be given to the National Workers' Union, as they operated illegally and contradicted the very law books they were quoting from." End quote. The Secretary General has since addressed the concerns expressed by the CCC.
We are always open to communication and better communication. The union is a partner in this whole industrial relations scheme of things. But like I indicated, the workers were the ones who sought the intervention of the union and the Labour Commissioner / Labour Department. So we basically responded to that call for intervention, if you want to put it that way. So that's, but like I said, in terms of communication, the union is always open. All our partners know where we are, our contact information, who we are, etc. So we have no problems in terms of better communication and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we all must be honest in what we do, and that will determine where we go forward.
He says parties also agreed to continue discussions aimed at settling other outstanding domestic matters at the soonest.
That conciliatory meeting also addressed, in part, the way forward as it relates to the outstanding domestic matters that are before the union and the CCC in terms of how we go about dealing with them and resolving them. So the Labour Commissioner mandated that we sit down with the Council, keep the Office of the Labour Commissioner periodically informed as it relates to where we go in terms of progress, so that if she were to intervene in the future, at least there's a basis on which such an intervention would be done.
The NWU representative thanked the CCC for their role in the swift resolution of this issue. For 7 News, I am Jaffa Udo.
A wave of freshness breezed through the communities of Maynard Hill, Pave, and Rock Hall on the 1st of March as residents, alongside the Department of Environmental Health and the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, went from house to house in a massive cleanup effort. It was a sight to see. Residents, environmental and solid waste officials all mobilized for one purpose: to rid the communities of Pave, Rock Hall and Maynard Hill of trash. Piles of bulky household waste, construction material and the like were loaded onto waiting trucks. The volume of waste was astonishing, and organizers say it speaks to just how crucial and needed the initiative was.
We had the cooperation of everybody, from the toddler to the young person, to the child, to the elderly. We had everybody participating as much as possible. I must say the exercise was a fruitful one. Of course, we wasn't anticipating so much, but we did take out quite a bit, and I think the community is very pleased as to what we've done so far. Not all can be done in one day, but I must say I'm satisfied with the amount of work that was done, the amount of stuff that we got rid of. The community is looking better. And I must implore the community members to ensure that we do our best to keep it that way.
Environmental Officer Charlotta Charles spoke after about 10 hours of cleanup. She said the volume of waste that needed to be collected is indicative of the need for better waste management practices by members of the public.
What we'd like to see is that consequent to the cleanup, you could see a difference in the community. When we walk through, you could see a more sanitary, a clean community, a community where, persons can feel more relaxed and more at ease because of the atmosphere, the place is cleaner. So we'd just like to encourage persons to keep putting the garbage out only on the collection days, not before and not after. Upon the removal of some of the hotspots that we had previously identified, there were quite a bit of rats in these communities. So our aim is that with the removal of the garbage, it's going to discourage the rats from actually remaining in the community. And of course, we've been able to give some community members certain tips in terms of how to keep their homes free from rodents.
Davis Mathre is the zonal officer with the Solid Waste Management Authority. He applauded the efforts of community members. He implored them to take heed of collection days moving forward to ensure that their surroundings stay clean.
I think I was impressed by the large turnout of residents. It shows that the sense of community is still alive in our country, St. Lucia. And I'd like to thank the residents of Parvey, Maynard Hill, Rockall for coming out. The importance of keeping the community clean was actually brought forward by all of the presence of so many people.
All parties involved agreed that the initiative should be rolled out again soon. The National Conservation Authority, NCA, on the morning of Saturday, the 29th of February, joined partner agencies and businesses operating along the Pigeon Island Causeway in a massive cleanup exercise.
A number of organizations collaborated efforts to channel their appreciation and pride in the community into a major cleanup initiative between the Robert Duveau Drive and the Landings Resort and Spa. The aim was to address the dumping in the area, a practice that is not only unsightly to St. Lucians and visitors alike, but also illegal. The initiative was born out of an established Landings Environmental Committee. Executive Assistant at the Landings Resort and Spa and the co-chair of the Environmental Committee, Camille Huggins, said having conducted several cleanup initiatives along the same area, now is the time for action.
In the past, we have also collaborated with the National Trust to do several cleanups, but the fact that we have to do it so often means that there needs to be more awareness of what is happening here and the fact that it should not happen. It is illegal, it is an eyesore, and we need to put a stop to it. The only other thing I wanted to add is we will be erecting cameras, surveillance cameras as well, and the idea is we're going to, as much as we're going to try and prevent the dumping, the illegal dumping, we also want the public to know that should, after all of this, they still continue to dump, there will be cameras strategically placed and located to catch the individuals, and they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
General Manager for the National Conservation Authority, Jacinta Lee, lamented the indiscriminate dumping of garbage in the area. Individuals were dumping not only household waste, but commercial waste as well. The general manager indicated that the litter wardens were instrumental in ensuring individuals refrained from such behavior. However, she noted that everyone should be responsible enough to dispose of their waste properly.
They used to call them police Zodi. Castries was clean, a clean city. You throw a cigarette butt, you were charged. We need to bring back the litter wardens. We really need to, because if not, things will just get worse and worse and worse. There are so many national cleanups, so many community cleanups. That's not right. That's not right. If each person takes the responsibility, you know, that we wouldn't have to be taking our Saturdays to come around to clean up after people. You notice at the back there, and these are contractors that have been paid to dump garbage, and instead of going to the landfill, they just dump it there. That shouldn't happen.
Commercial Services Officer at the National Conservation Authority, Lydia Cox, warned that the impact of indiscriminate dumping is far-reaching.
Sometimes I think people have that notion that, look, we want us to clean for guests, for tourists when they come to our country, but we forget that how we can have a negative impact on our lives and even the country's economy. Because if we continue to litter, then we can have the outbreak of diseases. It will put pressure on our health system. It will put pressure on the country, because the government will have to find money to deal with persons getting sick because of litter around the place. I want to employ St. Lucian. I want to please ask St. Lucians to let's have some national pride. Take away your waste. Your garbage is your responsibility. If you come to the beach, you have an activity, take your garbage, tie it up, place it in your vehicle, take it with you, and dispose of it properly.
Heavy-duty equipment was on site to dispose of the bulky commercial waste dumped on the causeway. Environment, Health and Safety Manager for Sandals Grant, St. Lucia, Venicia Durant, explained that the initiative was a long time coming.
We've been advocating for this for a while. We've had many cleanups. We've even taken on a project earlier this year, and if you look along the roadways, you would see some signs that we've erected just to help persons to know that, guess what, you don't need to dump your garbage here, or you need to ensure that you keep the place clean. So we're all in on that. However, we have taken it a step further, and so I am very happy that we've joined forces with Landins as well as other NGOs, and the government has taken the initiative as well to ensure that we try to clean up this space, because this is the entrance to our national landmark, and we want to ensure that when persons come on this causeway that they feel a sense of pride. So it's a part of a step-by-step process to get involved in a beautification of the causeway, and we're happy that we're a part of it.
A number of entities collaborated to make the cleanup a success, including the Landins Resort and Spa, National Conservation Authority, St. Lucia National Trust, St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, PKF, CLICO, Sandals Grant St. Lucian, and the Gros Islet Constituency Council. The cleanup campaign was six-pronged and included creating awareness through the use of the media networks, the cleaning up of the community in partnership with other organizations, clearing up of overgrown brush and the removal of trailers and empty containers, and the erection of signage, placing boulders along boundary lines, and the installation of cameras and lighting, followed by a beautification undertaking. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.